RAM. Everyone who uses a computer or a mobile phone must have heard about RAM, random access memory. What is it? Today in this video, we're going to talk about RAM on the computer and the mobile phones. Welcome to Katz Focus. Let's get started. RAM. Everyone who uses a computer or a mobile phone must have heard about RAM, that some of have 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB RAM. So in this video, we're going to discuss about what is RAM and the type of RAM that we have, DDR3 and DDR4, and how they work. Welcome to Katz Focus. Let's get started. So what is a RAM and why do we need a RAM in a computer? RAM is random access memory. It's a space like we save our files on the hard drive. When we shut down the computer and power it on again, we always find the files there. But once we turn on the computer and open any file for the first time, it does take time to open that file. And if we open 3-4 programs simultaneously, it does take time for the first time to open them. But we always see that in the taskbar, we have the icon of those programs, and we can click on whatever we want to access. So what is happening here? Once we open a program, opening a program means we are loading that program into the RAM. That program is loaded into the RAM. We open next program, that's loaded into the RAM. Let's say we open 10 programs and they are loaded into the RAM. We can switch between the programs just with the click of mouse. So everything is in RAM right now. Now, what is the benefit of having more RAM? The benefit of having more RAM is we can load more programs into the RAM. So first time we open any program, it's loaded into the RAM, we close it, we open it again, it's again going to take time to load into the RAM. But if it remains opened, then we can switch between the programs and we can go to any program simultaneously. So it's always advised to use more RAM, and you can always calculate the capacity depending on the work. Let's say if you just work on the office and just a little bit of the documents, then less RAM would be sufficient for you. Actually, it's not just the RAM, it's the configuration, the way it works with the processor. But if you do much heavy gaming, or you got high-end processor and you do video editing, then in that case you need more RAM, because your computer would not hang, it would work smoothly, you can load multiple applications at one go. Now let's talk about what is a DDR3 and what is DDR4. For past few years, everybody has been using DDR2 is almost out of the picture now. So DDR3, people have been using it if you're not high-end gamer, or you don't have a need for the high-end computer. So DDR3 is still sufficient enough. So the difference between DDR3 and DDR4 is DDR3 uses more power and is less efficient than DDR4. You can say the high-end DDR3 RAM, if you compare it with the normal DDR4 RAM, so the DDR4 RAM would still perform better than DDR3. It also depends on the speed of the RAM as well, 1333 megahertz. Let's say on your computer you got 4 slots of the RAM, and you've installed 2 RAMs there of 8 GB each. And their capacity and their speed mismatches. Let's say one is 1333 megahertz and another is 1866. So they won't work in sync, and the higher, it would not work as per the speed of the higher RAM. It will work as per the speed of the lower. Both of them would work at 1333. If they're compatible, the chances that they might stop working. So now, why do we have 4 different slots or 2 different slots on a computer for the RAM? Well, the reason for that is if we have one single stick installed, then everything is lined up. It'll process, everything will happen one by one. So few things will have to wait. There'll be a latency. But if we have 4 different slots, doesn't matter we have one slot, one stick of 32 GB RAM out there, but it would still work slower than if we divide the same RAM into 4 sticks, 8, 8, 8, 8. So it's doing the multitasking now. Nothing is waiting. Where it was processing something in certain amount of time, now it's processing 4 things in the same amount of time. So that is a concept of RAM. Now let's talk about phones. The RAM concept remains same in phones, DDR3, DDR4. The only difference between a computer and a phone is we do not have the option to change, modify or increase the RAM capacity in the phone. And same goes for the laptop as well, but yeah, we do have option to change it, but we can't make much modification in laptop. But in phone we cannot change it. In a desktop we can always change and modify and upgrade your computer in the RAM. That's the reason I've been using a desktop for a long time and I love my desktop. So that is the only difference between phone and the desktop. Otherwise RAM remains the same. They work the same on computer and a desktop and a laptop and a mobile phone. So this is my video about the RAM and DDR3 and DDR4 RAM. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel, comment and provide me the feedback. I'll bring more interesting videos for you. Thank you.